Blockchain, very important. Cryptocurrency, very important. I am embarrassed, highly and completely embarrassed, that New York State has pushed blockchain out of our state and has basically pushed Bitcoin out of our state.
Hey everybody, I'm Gary Palmer Jr., you're you, and together we are Minting Coins, your trusted source for crypto news, interviews, and ICO reviews. Thank you for showing up. Hit that like button. And today we are joined with a special guest. This is Larry Sharpe. Larry Sharpe is a libertarian candidate running for the governor of New York State.
Yes, indeed.
And Larry Sharpe is here. Larry Sharpe has he's in town talking about a lot of different issues affecting people in and around New York State. And one of those issues is Bitcoin, is blockchain technology. And we have Larry on the show today to talk about some of these things.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here.
Yes, absolutely. I'm glad to be here, glad to be around. I'm trying to let people know that New York State has made a lot of errors. A lot of errors. And in general, what New York State has done very well is pushed out all the new money and embraced all the old money. We are all about old money, banking, that kind of thing. We've pushed out marijuana and hemp. We've pushed out cryptocurrency. We tried to push out Airbnb. We tried to push out Uber, and this is a terrible mistake. I want the youth to stay in New York. We're losing over 100,000 people every year, and a lot of those are the young. If we were to embrace cryptocurrency, embrace Bitcoin, embrace these things, then more of the youth would stay. We'd have some more excitement. We'd have more smaller businesses, and we're not doing that well at all, and it's really a problem. And my bigger issue here, though, is if we had more of the youth stay here, we'd have more small businesses, we'd have more entry-level jobs, we'd have a lot of good things to get people excited and motivated, and we don't have that. And it's a big problem.
There seems to be a ton of problems in New York State. There seems to be a lot of issues with laws and regulations that make it really difficult for businesses to operate
The
here.
BIT license is a perfect example of that, right? What New York State's really good at is saying, no, it's not illegal. We just have to license you, that's all. We have to license you, that's all. And a license for safety. That's what it's for safety. Yeah, that's a lie. Licensing is for control in New York State, and that's it. They license things like how to walk a dog, braid hair. I'm not making that up. And when they do it, it's not like they license you to braid hair because you have to be the perfect braider or someone will die from a braid injury. That's not what happens. It's fantasy. What they use licensing for is two things. One is to control, and second, as a massive barrier to entry to ensure that others can't get involved and ensure that the old money stays in power. The BIT license is a perfect example of that. Yes, you can, of course, if you want to, use Bitcoin in New York. You can, if you're basically a big bank. There's been 1 or 2 BIT licenses given out. It's almost impossible. But why? Is it safety? Of course not. In other states throughout the world, somehow people are using Bitcoin, people are using blockchain, and the world isn't dying. There's no zombie apocalypse. It's a fantasy. It's the same as with, as I said, with walking a dog. Do you require a license in reality to walk a dog? Of course not. What do? They decide to have a license so they can control you and create a barrier to entry so that big business can win. Cryptocurrency is not about big business. Cryptocurrency is about the little guy in his basement, in his garage, becoming somebody great, doing something important, becoming someone smart, bettering in his life. That's what actual cryptocurrency is about. But it's something else. It's also about democratizing information, democratizing success, and actually allowing people to trade in any way they want to trade. And this is something they also don't like. So I often look at cryptocurrency similar to, say, baseball cards or comic books.
Okay.
If I want to trade comic books, I can. If I want to. You can't stop me from doing that. If I want to trade baseball cards, you can. If I want to. What's the value of my baseball card? What's the value of my comic book? What all the comic collectors say it is.
Yeah.
That's the value. The actual value of the comic book, the paper on it, is probably maybe a penny. right? Maybe a penny. The actual physical value of the paper itself is maybe a penny.
Yeah, we don't have comic books and baseball cards being dubbed as securities by New York State.
No, not at all.
We shouldn't be giving them any ideas here.
Yeah, but that's my point, right? That's what I'm saying. Are you going to now start saying that you can't trade comic books, you can't trade baseball cards?
Yeah.
Baseball cards are worth X dollars because the baseball card community says it's worth X dollars. That's why, because someone is okay with paying X dollars for a Hank Aaron baseball card or an Iron Man #1 comic book. What's the difference? People should trade in what they want to trade. But there's a deeper issue here, and that is the blockchain aspect. This aspect I enjoy tremendously because this actually democratizes knowledge. This actually allows people to know what's happening. It actually makes us safer, it makes everything better, and it makes things more transparent. I'm a big fan of transparency, And the more honest you are, the more transparency you want. And the less honest you are, the less transparency you want. So we, being New York State, don't like transparency. We're not very honest. Look, what we don't get here is what's already happening. When you have a situation to where your country or your economy begins to collapse, we already find ways of getting our money out. It's already happening. You look at some places like Russia or China when you have some billionaire oligarch. What does he do? He can't get his money out of China. They won't let him. He can't get his money out of Russia. They won't let him. But he's afraid that at one point he's going to be called a criminal and arrested and his stuff's going to be taken because that's what happens in those countries. What does he do? He buys $10 million apartments in Manhattan. That's what he does. So he's traded his money for an asset. In this case, it's a $10 million apartment in Manhattan. He buys 2 or 3 of them. He does that so he can send his kids to school in Manhattan or in New York. And when he becomes a criminal, he can rush and escape to New York, sell one of those $10 million apartments so he has cash, and live in the other. Mm-hmm. That's how he gets his money out. If you're not that wealthy, what do? You buy art. You buy art online. You go to, again, this is all happening in Manhattan. You go to Manhattan, you go to a gallery, and you wonder, how can this gallery stay in business? Well, because it's not really a gallery. It's basically a rental place to keep art that people have bought from places like Greece or Spain when their economies have collapsed. So they put their money in art because it's safer to be in art than into their own currency, which is collapsing. So they keep their money in their art. They wait till the economy comes back. Then they sell their art. And they never actually own the art. It sat there and was being rented, and they rent the space in some gallery. Happens all the time. Cryptocurrency is no different. It's going to happen again. As economies begin to collapse, as the fiat currency begins to collapse, you will find people jumping onto Bitcoin or Litecoin or insert coin here. So I think that's always going to happen.
And so right now there's a situation with the economy and a potential recession or correction happening. And it sounds like you're predicting, like I am and a lot of other people, that this capital flight is going to exit from the stock market and fiat into Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. And as you've been talking about with the New York State bit license, this has really prevented a lot of local residents from getting involved.
100%.
And they're not going to be able to purchase until after all of these, old money folks are able to get inside their position. What you see happen consistently is old money knows when things are going to get bad. How do they know? They literally get told. I'm not making this up. There's a thing in finance called burning your book. What that means is I'm a guy who's a financial advisor. I'm making these numbers up for sake of argument, 200 customers, 25 of my heavy hitter customers, my guys who give me $2 million or more, $10 million or more, $50 million or more. The rest are my average customers. All of a sudden I see a correction's coming. Who do I tell? I tell my heavy hitter customers first, so they all start to get out. Then when I see it coming, they start getting out first. Then I start telling the rest of my people in order of importance. Well, they're all screwed. Guaranteed they're all screwed. Top guys aren't, they're all in cash. These guys all get in trouble, can't do anything, can't pay their bills, want to sell all their assets as fast as they can, taking it at dirt cheap money. Who's buying it? The guys at the top who got out. They buy it all, they have all extra assets, and all of a sudden you see a shift. Happens all the time, happens in every correction. It'll happen again. But if we're in cryptocurrency, it may not happen. It may not happen, but the problem is it's going to crush New York because New York doesn't allow easy access to cryptocurrency. I've got 3 ideas that I want to work for New York State to make this happen. Number 1, get rid of the bit license. Immediately, gone. No bit license. It should go away tomorrow. It's a bad idea. It's stupid. It shouldn't exist. I want people in the cryptocurrency world to pick 3 different ways of being in the cryptocurrency world. And they pick. Number 1, they want to be a retailer. A retailer means you want to accept cryptocurrency in your business. You should do that. How do we do that right now? Well,
There isn't a perfect answer right now to be forward with you, but I have a good enough answer for right now, which will make cryptocurrency more mainstream. Everyone has to pay sales tax in New York State. No worries, I'm okay with that. Here's what you do. At the end of every given month, you simply tally all of the cryptocurrency you've actually collected, whatever it is. I've got 4.7 Bitcoin this month, whatever that is. I then take the average of that currency according to the Chicago Mercantile Exchange that last month, using them on purpose. The Chicago Mercantile Exchange, their average during the past month, write the percentage, write that check in cash in New York State, you're done. That's it. Sales tax paid. Take as much cryptocurrency as you want, as long as the Chicago Mercantile Exchange accepts that and has a way of creating a monthly average. That's it. That's how you pay your sales tax in New York State. Is it perfect? No, it is not. Is it good enough? Absolutely yes. The part I like about that is it makes it more mainstream. It makes it manageable. There's not a bunch of paperwork to be dealt with. So guess what? Stores will do it. That's what I want. I want it to start getting used, and once it's used, then we will find the right way or a better way, and it'll begin to shift and mix and match. But that's retail. The second way is you want to be an investor, a trader. I don't mind that. Be a trader. I don't mind that at all. I trade it like anything else. When you actually cash out, you pay your taxes like capital gains when you cash out. But while you're trading within cryptocurrency, why is there a tax? Why is there even a need to control what you're doing? No one knows what comic books I have until I sell my collection, right? No one knows what baseball cards I have until I sell my collection. We should follow that same thing. Why do I have to know how much Bitcoin you have, or how much Litecoin you have, or how much whatever, how much Dogecoin you have? I don't care what coin you have. Have it. I don't mind. No one needs to know until you decide to cash out. If you decide to do a lot of your business just within that world, good for you. If I want to trade comic books all day, good for me. No worry. So trading is you pay when and if you decide to cash out, like any other investment, like art or comic books. I don't mind at all. Last is if you want to be a bank. If you want to be a bank, I'm okay with that. I want no fractional reserve though. No fractional reserve on cryptocurrency at all. That I do not want. You have what you have, you loan what you loan via contract like any other bank should be. The advantage of that is it will show the world you don't need a Federal Reserve to have a banking system. You don't require fractional reserve to have a banking system. It's not required. It's a very good system that we can prove to the rest of the world it can work. So those things we can make mainstream cryptocurrency, it will work.
So if we didn't have cryptocurrency now, sounds like you'd be an advocate of us going back on the gold reserve.
Maybe, and I'm not sure that's... we have cryptocurrency. We're fine. Yeah. I'm not sure I would go there, to be fair. I don't really know. There's so much there. There's also, but not just that, to be forward with you. Gold feels like many people like we're going backward, and selling that to the American population is probably actually harder than selling cryptocurrency.
Well, it's like going back to the newspapers after we
Yes,
the internet.
Exactly. It's really hard to sell that. Would a gold standard be better than fractional reserve? Absolutely. But to do that is a hard sell, being realistic. Yeah. It's a hard sell to the American people. Forward is always an easier sell. So I think I'd go that route.
Yeah.
But I want to go one step further here. It's not just about cryptocurrency. It's also about, just in general, blockchain. Blockchain should be used for many things. We use blockchain for voting, blockchain for running parts of our government. Blockchain is a safer, more secure, more transparent system. Why do we not want to do that? A lot of jobs are going to be lost if we do that. And people don't like that. I get that. And on top of that, it's scary. Come on. It's something I don't know. I don't get what's going to happen. The hackers are going to come in, right? And they're going to hack, and they're going to hack our election and all that stuff. And I get those worries. We have to spend a lot of time marketing this better. And that's one thing the crypto community does not do well. And that's market. Sorry, guys, you're bad at this. You called yourself crypto. What a terrible name. So yes, branding, not your skill set. So we have to work better on branding and marketing. If we do that better, we'll be able to get it in. But look, I'm a good marketer for you. I want to be the marketer in chief for New York State. I want to support you. That's why I'm here. I think it's the right answer. That, along with things like DSOs to actually make everything better and more efficient, in our government, we can save tons of money, save tons of time, and more importantly, get more people involved in government. We have about 70% of New Yorkers who don't even vote. And in some local areas, we've given up so badly that we don't have enough people to literally fill the billets of local government. And that's a problem. And cryptocurrency, blockchain, DSOs, all this technology can make all of this better.
That's really, really interesting. You bring up a lot of really interesting points in there. People talk about the applications of blockchain in terms of how it's disrupting banks and how it's disrupting media, how it's disrupting different forms of centralized technology companies.
Scary.
A lot of people have talked about using blockchain for voting. If and when you are elected governor of New York State, is voting on the blockchain for residents something that you would want to implement sooner than later, or do you think it's too early?
To be full with you, I think it's a wonderful idea, but it's not high on my list. Mm-hmm. It is scary. It'll take a lot of political capital to put it on. Am I open to the idea? 100%. If I can get you guys to help me push it, yes, absolutely. But for me to spearhead that, probably not going to happen. I'm being full with you. I am for it. I want it to happen, but there's only a certain amount of political capital that I can push in the first 2 to 4 years. If you would help me push it, I am behind you 100%, but the odds of me pushing it at the top of my agenda, slim.
It really needs to be from the base up, not from the top
Absolutely.
down.
Plus, I'm not going to become an expert in it. So I need you to become the expert for me, and I can help put you to the forefront. Then yes.
So from day one that you were to become governor, how many days do you think until the BIT license could be scrapped or would be scrapped?
Well, it's a good question. The issue is once the BIT license goes away, I have to make sure I can deal with the idea of the finance and banking industry, which some of that is federal. Mm-hmm. So my guess would be within the first 6 months. That's a good guess.
Yeah.
But I can't be sure.
Interesting.
I have to dig a little bit deeper to make sure I'm not overlapping or controlling with federal issues, and then how much of that is simply regulatory bodies in New York State, and how many of those are specifically run just by the governor. The odds are most are, so the odds are within 3 to 6 months I can make this happen. That's the odds are. Mm-hmm. I don't want to promise that, but the odds are within 3 to 6 months it can be gone.
Yes. We look at the timing with the rest of the financial world, and we've talked about how there will be this correction or worse in the economy.
Eventually, sure.
When that happens, we expect to see the price of cryptos go up. And
I hope so. I own.
So you're a holder and a hodler yourself.
I am. Absolutely. I don't want anything to go down, of course. I know it will. When that happens, I hope that Bitcoin goes up, because I only hold Bitcoin. And I only picked Bitcoin because it was easy. Yeah. It was simple. That's the reason why I hold Bitcoin. I've got buddies who I've mentioned Dogecoin. They have Dogecoin. They have Ethereum. They have all types of stuff. By the way,
different coins out there.
And I'm sorry, I hold one more. I do hold Sharpe coin. There is Sharpe coin. Yes, there is. SHARPE coin. It's on the Wave. Cool. Hold on. What's it called? The Wave.
Waves platform.
Waves platform. Thank you. It's on a Waves platform. Yes,
I know what he's talking about.
It's on a Waves platform. So there is Sharpe coin. And if you want to get some, you can donate to my campaign at LarrySharpe.com, and we can give you Sharpe coin if you want to. It can happen. And if I win, it will be worth something.
Yeah, I could definitely see that.
Yes.
Sharpe, compared to the inflationary fiat dollars, I think the Sharpe coin is going to be, going up in value. It probably has a limited supply where we have this fractional reserve with the US dollar, and they're always printing more of it. I believe that the Trump tax plan from 2017 is printing an additional $1 trillion into the economy.
This is why when it comes to money in general, and this is a little off topic, but it goes to what you're talking about.
Sure.
I am not a fan of tax cuts. And it may sound crazy from someone like me. Libertarian? No. I'm a fan of reducing spending. Because if you simply cut taxes, someone else is going to pay it, or we're going to have more debt. That's not the answer. We have to be able to reduce spending. So it's off topic, but when it comes to that kind of thing, it bothers me. Everyone says, cut taxes so someone else can pay it, or so we can have more debt. Let's reduce spending first.
Well, in New York State, spending increases substantially, but then we drive out businesses like the crypto industry, we drive out businesses in the
We literally have counties where there's 1/3 of the population on Medicaid, 1/3 on Medicare, and a dwindling population as we lose thousands of people every year, and on top of that, tax bill that keeps going up. And that's why we keep raising property taxes, and that's why we also start using law enforcement as a profit center, right? Those those tickets that used to cost $50 now cost $200. And that's why we have licensing. We use licensing to raise money. That's why we do it. Oh, you want to start something? It's a $400 fee. Why? Because we need money. That's it. So we've been doing that a lot. I agree. We have to change that. This whole system has to change. That's a revamp. And part of that is not being afraid of something new. It's one of the major reasons why I'm a big fan of blockchain, because this is something new that can help us, and we should stop being afraid of it.
So in New York State, which we're residents of, this is where we run minting coins out of, and this is where we have our organizations, Bitcoin NYS and Blockchain NYS. We're really focused on New York State.
Sure.
Because, although we recognize crypto is a global industry.
Sure.
It's borderless, it's permissionless. Most of the time, especially when we're talking about the open blockchain, there's still these jurisdictions that we have with these, made up lines and these local governments, right? And so we're talking about cryptos increasing in price as the economy has its next recession. And we've talked about how people in New York State aren't able to easily purchase into crypto's currencies. And a third topic that we talked about is around how 70% of people in the state don't vote. So I've been thinking about voting, I've been thinking about politics. I think people are sort of numb to the politicians only saying what we want to hear once every 2 years if we're lucky.
I don't even say what people want to hear, not even ever.
You call it like you see it.
I think it's true. If you've been following me, that's exactly what I do. And I found that I'm shocked at how many people that agree with me on, say, 4 or 5 things and disagree with me on one thing don't get mad at me.
Yeah.
And go, I don't buy that one thing, but at least tell me the truth.
Yeah.
And they actually still support me, even though there are certain things we disagree upon. There are a lot of people who are afraid of cryptocurrency. Excuse me. They assume, and this is a faulty assumption, that cryptocurrency will only be used for illegal things and killing people and contract killers and terrorists and the bad things. That's being used now without cryptocurrency, and we had all those things before cryptocurrency, and we'll have all those things if we even destroy cryptocurrency. It won't matter. Bad people will always do bad things. But why not have a system to where the average person has a shot at success? The thing that bothers me most about the heavy regulation, as you mentioned, the borders and the lines and the regulations on cryptocurrency, is they say it's for our protection. It's not. It's to keep us out. They're totally okay with the stock market because the stock market is run by elites. That's why. It's run by elites. Heavily regulated. And
we have decreased regulation in the stock market. Just recently, there's more and more regulations that have been decreased to allow the major
But
banks.
There's tons of it. Have you seen the regulations? There's tons of it. Mm-hmm. They make sure it's just enough to make sure the average person has no idea. Their goal was to have a perfect equilibrium. The average person is so afraid and clueless that they can never get really involved and have to rely upon an expert who has to get fees, and big business knows so much that it always has the inside track, right? That's what the market is all about. That regulation is a perfect balance. Cryptocurrency breaks that.
In New York State, how do we give more of that power back to the people, and how do we convey that to the 70% of the people who don't vote?
We allow people to have cryptocurrency, then they won't care about those other things. Right? The market is a monopoly. Monopolies are bad. Just because they're government-backed monopolies doesn't make them good all of a sudden.
And our media is a monopoly, and they do a great job at marketing when they repeat the message that
But
Bitcoin
that's also
is for
changing.
Terrorists.
That's also changing because this right here, this
we're
is
not,
also.
We're not the mainstream media.
No, but there are literally
monopoly.
thousands of this right now happening that is actually fighting the mainstream media. So
at the expense of, with that, we're fighting censorship on Facebook,
yes,
censorship
indeed.
on
yes, indeed.
YouTube. You know, we see several stations that are censored on YouTube. We just saw a cryptocurrency media expert have their 60,000 people group just vanished.
They won't let me.
Gone.
They will not let me promote most of the crypto stuff I put on my Facebook page. You're right, but I'm telling you that is going to change. It takes time. It takes mainstreaming. And my point that I brought up earlier. If we just get retailers to take cryptocurrency, it will begin to mainstream it. And if retailers say, Facebook, you better stop, I take cryptocurrency, Facebook will stop or to go out of business. Or something else will pop up and be the thing where people can retail.
Enough of us need to come together behind a message.
Mainstream matters. Mainstream matters. When we make cryptocurrency mainstream, everything changes. Culture matters. It does matter.
So what message do you have to the people of the world, and what message do you have to people in New York, and what can you say to help encourage them to go out to the voting polls and vote Libertarian?
Look, the issue here you want to think about is, I'll talk about the world and I'll talk about New York State a little bit differently. In the world, if you keep doing the same thing, you keep getting the same result. It's okay to be new. Everything was scary once. Gold coins were scary once. They're not anymore. Dollars were scary once. They're not anymore, right? I mean, cryptocurrency is scary now, but it won't be soon. Everything's scary at one point. Eventually it becomes mainstream. When it comes to New York State, remember something. If you like where New York is going, with literally 1 million New Yorkers leaving our state in the last 8 years, with us in steady decay and decline, vote for an R or a D. If you vote blue team or red team, I guarantee you something. I guarantee you something. If you vote blue team or red team, His Majesty King Andrew Cuomo will win again, and nothing will change. If you vote Libertarian, I'll win. Even if I don't win, I will become valid, and I will make sure people hear us, and things will still change. Either way, voting gold, voting Libertarian, makes change. Voting blue team, red team, just pack your bags.
And within 6 months of having you in office, New York State gets rid of the BIT license.
Love it, gone.
We start moving in a progressive direction for cryptocurrency.
Absolutely,
in
yes.
New York.
Immediately, people will know. People will know right away. And if those of you want to support and help, LarrySharpe.com. It's Sharpe with an E, and the E stands for electable.
I love that. We'll have that linked in the show notes below across our channels. Any other events or anything you want to plug before we wrap up?
I am all over the place. By the way, I will be at the blockchain event in Atlantic City, July, I think it's 11, 12, 13.
Which on McAfee, right?
Yes.
That one.
McAfee will be there also. So Patrick Byrne. So a lot of people will be there, absolutely. So if you want to see me there, I will be there. I'm also going to be at Startup Cities Wednesday evening in New York City and Manhattan. So I'm here supporting the blockchain world and the Bitcoin community.
Excellent. Larry, thank you very much.
Thank you,
Thanks for
my friend.
being on the show. Thanks for sharing your
Good seeing
thoughts,
you.
your insights. And until next time, I hope to have you again, and we wish you a lot of luck.
Excellent.
We'll be sharing this information with a lot of people. Thank you, everyone, for showing up. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. Hit that bell icon notification. If you have any questions or comments, leave those in the show notes below. And until next time, I'm glad that together we are minting coins.